We are live. Good morning, y'all. Happy Tuesday. It's a wild world out there.
Yes, it is.
Take it away.
When the world's going crazy and you don't know what to do, just look at it. Said when the world's going crazy and you don't know what to do, just look at it.
Oh, your voice just melts me. Every time it melts me. Well, after yesterday's episode, we were just like, wow, there was a lot of intensity in the world yesterday too. And we were like, we need to bring it back to managing some chaos and the crazy in the world.
Yeah.
So hi, my name's Jess.
And I'm Reed. This is Just Look At It. We're Monday through Friday. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or if you're on the East Coast, it's 11. We love that you're here because we're passionate about really hitting things head on, really looking at them, and not sugarcoating the truth, but really there's times where it gets so chaotic feeling when we're online all the time and our world is like this view of what's being projected at us. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. Like I don't even think I felt this way last year, where there's so much dependency on what we see.
Well, on the internet as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know about y'all. Like, we're in Vegas, which is actually a great question. Where are you guys? Where are you tuning in from?
Let us know.
But we are in Vegas, and things like this isn't Just Look At It to me is about looking at reality, because optimism almost killed me in some ways. Like, I am an unapologetic optimist, but part of that balance is having a real good look at reality every single day. What am I living in? What is around me? Because if I sit in just optimism, I have this view of life where it's like everything's sugar-coated and beautiful. And you know what? That's just not reality. That life isn't just beautiful all the time. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be something that comes up. Like no matter, and a lot of things aren't even within our control. Like when our son got bit by a bug and was paralyzed, like 4-year-olds play. He was 4 at the time. And it's like, of course he's going to play outside. And what 4-year-old boy doesn't have bug bites? Like that's just a real reality.
Yeah.
And so sometimes things happen that are totally outside of our control. And we just have to look at it so we can own it, so we can take responsibility for certain things that are within our realm and like really own it and really change our lives, because that's what's so important. And I have found over and over that the quality of our lives are dependent on the quality of the questions that we ask, what we ask ourselves, what we ask the people around us. And that to me is so critically important, and why we started the show, Just Look At It, because we really need to look at the quality of our lives and the questions.
Yeah.
So
I agree. If you guys are watching on, if you don't see the red up in the left-hand corner that says live, it means you're watching on the replay, and just do hashtag replay.
So we know you're there, and we can respond to your comments. But
asking questions.
Man,
well, our kids had a lot of questions yesterday.
Yesterday was so intense because there was that guy who committed suicide live on Facebook. And after getting over the initial shock, first, no one in our households watched the video, because what happened was our 13-year-old daughter was on TikTok. She saw a warning video. Someone that she follows was like, don't open this video or a video like this, and was warning people. And she did exactly what we've taught our kids to do. She came to us. She was like, Mom, have you heard anything about this? And I was like, no, That's terrifying because it was a very, very graphic suicide that was stuck in the middle of calm meditation-like videos on TikTok, and they were calling it a jump scare video. And so it's designed to just scare the crap out of people, except it's a real life suicide. And
Yeah.
that is incredibly graphic. So after talking to the kids and really just hearing like their hearts, and they were asking a million questions, you know, why do people do this? Why was this? And we had to really look at what would cause a person to do something like that. And how, because we've all had friends that have committed suicide, people that we know, like, I don't know of anyone who hasn't had a friend who has at some point killed themselves. And so suicide's a very real thing that we all have to address, and it's traumatizing to us, and especially when it's publicized, and to our
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
And so,
And I felt like there was a different element going on where there's two things we were looking at. And when I first heard about it, and Zoe was just like, oh man, this is so, I don't know how to like really deal with this, really, like.
right, why would someone do something like
and
that?
then there was two elements to it, because as we asked more questions, she's like, there's this video of people saying, if it didn't hurt anyone, would you commit suicide? And there was just comment after comment of kids and possibly adults saying that absolutely
They would do it. And so
And
that
it's-
was what disturbed her so much.
that was what disturbed her so much, because there were so many people who were just like suicidal.
Right.
So many people who were suicidal. And
that honesty,
yeah,
it was so amazing. At 13, she was like, I appreciate their honesty, but why is there so much pain? And last night, just having this conversation with them and just hearing their hearts, and these are teens, you know, it was the Truth and Zoe, they're 15 and 13, and they're like, why do people hurt so bad? Why do they allow themselves to be so desensitized and yet shut down? And then in talking about the guy who did kill himself, it was like, why did he do it so publicly?
right.
And it was like that, to me, my only explanation is that he was so angry at the world. And he had shared in the days prior to killing himself, he had shared a number of posts. He was very much a Christian, like an evangelical Christian. He had shared a Toby Mac photo. Toby Mac used to be one of my favorite artists when I was a Christian, and you know, it's like Christian rap. And he was asking for help. And then it wasn't until he was really serious about suicide that his phone started blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
And out of just bitterness, hurt, something.
It's like he was
He did
setting
it.
a precedent
He-
of I'm going to show what happens.
Right.
Which is just, it's just like, it's almost like homicide. Like
It felt like a suicide homicide. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he was doing it for a really grotesque purpose. And that in itself is so disturbing. So here's what I want to tell you. If you are struggling, please just reach out. Reach out to me. Like reach out to someone. More
reach
than a
out to
post. More than
reach
just
out to the suicide hotline.
Yeah, you know what? The suicide hotline has saved my life 3 different times. And so, like, you don't even have to talk to someone that you know. If you have too much shame to reach out, like, just Google the suicide hotline and call them, because they really are amazing. They really will just stop and listen to you. And
And if it's not about shame as much
Right.
as it is anger or unresolved pain, reach out to somebody who is more solid. Think of the most solid person in your life and reach out to them, like who may be receptive. But
and find connections.
find connections. Like, find them early on. Like I'm going to admit it, that this year I've had a few times where I've had difficulties and I've thought about suicide. I haven't planned it. I haven't like even really contemplated, if that makes sense. But it's flashed over my mind, like, you know, life insurance in this. And immediately I just thought, what a selfish fucking thing to do to my family who believes in me and loves me deeply. And they're in, like, there's a part of me that's in them that there's so much that I've given. And I believed that if I could just believe in all of me and just keep becoming more of me, then everything would turn out. And
I struggle
there's
with
gotta
the
be a starting
idea.
point.
I struggle with the idea of suicide being selfish. That has always bothered me. And like, I see it from the outside, and yet on the inside, I'm like, it comes back to, I actually wrote this, it's somewhere in my book, where suicide is the example of life truly giving you more than you can handle. And it doesn't feel like it's selfish when you're in it. And that has always triggered me in a really twisted way, that thing that suicide is selfish. And it's not, because when you're in that moment and when you're feeling that pain, you're not thinking, oh, I'm being selfish. That's not it. Right. It's that life has truly given you more than you can handle. And then people give you all of these little cheesy bullshit sayings, and they're fucked up. Because sometimes life really does give you more than you can handle. Yeah. And sometimes it does feel like it's just too difficult to even go on. Yeah. And what we're missing is the together. Mm. What we're missing is the community, the support, the people around us. And because I've lost so many people to suicide, like we just have to do better. Yeah. We have to do better, and we have to take care of our people. When someone's hurting, we have to reach out. I think about we have to reach out ourselves.
When I've been hurting, and I know this is really common with men, because there's this performance side of us, especially when we become online entrepreneurs. And I've heard this from so many men. I guess I've studied this. Maybe I've studied this a lot, where there's this thing that we have to do. There's always this something that we have to do to be worthy. To be worthy of living, we have to do certain things. That's this belief that has, it's like we have to be enough. And if we're too much, it's this pendulum. It's like, wow, now we're way too much and nobody's going to be able to handle me. And then it's just, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And that's cultural. And I just, I'm convicted when I'm talking about it right now, because I realize there's people I haven't reached out to for probably a couple months that I would really like to, and express my feelings and see how they're doing, because this year is got to be the most challenging time.
The world is changing
for the entire world that we've ever known. Right. I don't think humanity has ever experienced something quite like this.
The entire world is so radically different suddenly. Like all yesterday, the fires in California are burning like crazy. Yeah. And our whole sky was dark. Like it looked like we had a sepia tone. The whole
until the end of the day when it was just really dark.
And then the moon was like red, pink all day, and it was like there's this intensity in the air. There's an energy that is shifting in the world, and it's chaotic. Mm. And so just looking at that, being aware of that, and then bringing your bubble. One of the things that I talk a lot about, not a lot, but because it's just really a tool, is creating your force field. And I actually got it from Ivy, and it's not Ivy. Violet in The Incredibles. Yeah. Okay. So the little
Yeah.
girl in The Incredibles, she, she's a teenage girl. She always wore her hair over her face and was like, so much shame, not knowing how to be confident in herself, not knowing how to rise, and yet feeling like an outcast because she has these powers, but yet the powers hurt her. And yet one of her superpowers was the fact that she could put her hand up and it would create this force field around her or anyone who was close. And I remember the first time I saw that movie, I was like, that's what you have to do with energy. That's what you have to do with your body, with your aura, with your whatever you want to call it. You have to create a force field around you. Mm. And so like when I'm feeling like the weight of everything is on me, I will literally just put up my force field and be like, this is my bubble.
Yeah.
This is my area. This is what my energy fills this place. And then when it's kind of funny when it feels, to me, it's the simplest things, but what if we could put it in our mind, it makes sense. But then you can kind of blow it up. You can, and you can blow that energy up because for me, it's like, I want to protect my kids and their energies from this world, because it's like every time we go to the park, every time we go out somewhere, it's so obvious that the world has changed. This isn't about masks, no masks. It's not about this or that. It's not about any of those things. It's about the world has simply changed and the energies have changed. And it changes how we interact. It changes how we go shopping. It changes how we connect with friends. Mm. And the longer that we deny that, the harder it will be to accept this new world that we're living in. And that's why we do this Just Look at It.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's about being able to manage my own energy, being aware that when I leave the house, I don't know exactly what I'm getting into. Because every store is different, every day is different. There was one day, stores just randomly close. Mm. And nothing is, we're in Vegas and very few things are 24 hours now. Do you know how weird that is?
It's really strange when things close at 8 o'clock when they're normally,
Right. I took for granted 24-hour stores. Yeah. I loved grocery shopping in the middle of the night. Now it's gone. But it's just, the world is different.
It is.
So really the force field, think about it. It's such an easy tool. Just create a force field and put that bubble and then create the energy that you want. Create the life that you want. Yeah. Find that joy, that happiness that is in you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a choice, but the choice gets easier over time. And bad things are always going to happen.
Yeah.
We just have to be ready.
It's how we respond to them.
Yeah.
I think about where I've been stuck lately, going really just being in the moment. And sometimes being in the moment hasn't been good enough, because I see too much chaos. And I've been reflecting back on times where I felt like there was more control and there was more stability of understanding of where things are headed, where I'm headed, where I fit into that. And then imagining how I helped people and how I can help people greater with the wisdom I now have. And that perspective of just looking back and just taking the good and rejecting the bad. What we were before, there's going to be a lot that isn't going to necessarily serve us now, but really seeing what guided us in the past can really help us be grounded right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on that same note, there's so much wobble right now because everyone's finances are going, oh, what do we do? And it doesn't matter if you have millions, or if you're virtually homeless.
Yeah.
Everyone is shifting. And so whatever you do as an income, however you provide for yourself, giving yourself permission to shift, giving yourself permission to flow. Like we literally moved to Vegas and started this business 2 months before the lockdown. And I thought, like, we had a plan, we were serving people, but then when the lockdown happened, it changed everything. And so we started shifting and going, okay, now what? Now what? And I made a decision, I guess it was about 5 months ago, that I was just going to jump in and start doing. I was going to do and serve people that I knew I could serve. And I was just kind of going to put my feet up and ride the river of life. Because I think so many times when we're in this river of life, we like hold on, or we grab onto this bridge of insecurity. We like try to control the waters, and really you can't control the waters.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put my feet up and I'm going to let the waters take me. I changed my Facebook banner and I was like, I'm just going to be exactly me, not about my business, be exactly me, and then start creating offers and start helping people. And it was amazing. And when I look at the different people, I don't think we have had 2 clients in the same niche.
No.
And I think every single one of our clients have been in some kind of different niche, and that is totally okay.
And it was really exciting.
And it's fun because it's like, what are we good at? What are we not good at? What do we want to do? What do we enjoy doing? And but we helped people all along the way. And that is the biggest victory in the world. That's the most fun of it all. It's like, I cannot not have fun helping people. And so seeing lives change is the most exciting thing in the world. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to love it and have a great time doing it. But am I living fully within my passion, within my purpose, within who I am? And so that became really the question. It was like, yeah, I'm good at a lot of things. Not being arrogant. It's just that I've been serving people for over 20 years. I'd better be freaking good at this point. Like, you shouldn't do anything for 20 years and not be really good at it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I loved. I felt maybe I was in some kind of a midlife crisis because I'm 41 now, but this started when I was 40. But 40 doesn't feel like midlife. I feel young. But it was like, I know I can do a lot of things, but what do I really want? And honestly, it was going through, and it's really just hit me in the last couple weeks. And I'm super excited about that, but it takes just doing. And so really, that's what I want to encourage you with today is, yes, there's lots of change happening. And you need to do what you need to do in order to survive. Natural selection is real. And as you do that, and when you change, and when you adapt, and when your business pivots and pivots and pivots and pivots and pivots, it's okay. You're paying your bills. No one else is. You're responsible for it. Just keep doing it. Do the very best you can. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your clients. Be honest with your following. Be honest with the people who you love and serve. And honesty will save your business. It will save your marriage. It will save your life. Because that type of transparency, I believe, is the new wave of honestly marketing. I know most of us are sick to death of bullshit marketing. We're sick of being sold something and then not getting what we want. We're sick of being told that this is the way it is, and then when we get it, it's not. I think honesty, a true transparent type marketing is the way that the world is going, because we are sick of paying for shit that doesn't give us the results that we want.
Yeah, I think so too. There's another thing that I realized when I don't feel like I hadn't felt like I was enough. And the funny the funny thing that happened is I saw all of the things I could do. And when I created an offer, while it worked out and I gained clients and we were able to do a mastermind, I realized that you and I, but I remember specifically just throwing everything in that I can do. And it became kind of complicated after a while. And I realized that
because we do a lot.
Because
like, there's
we do a lot.
There's been
But I
a lot of
realized-
years.
I realized in that process, it was really important to really put myself out there in that way. But in the same sense, I realized like that I didn't have to make it as complicated.
Right. Niche down.
And so now I'm really niching like way down, and it's okay because I can do that for 3 months to a year and absolutely love what I'm doing. Like that's what I'm realizing. It's like just committing, where before you work a job and it's like you commit to kind of submitting. But when you remove the submitting away from it, it's only you deciding on your own confidence what you want for yourself and for your family, and how you will serve. And that it's so raw and so basic. And I feel like I missed a lot of that and I overcomplicated it. And while I helped my clients and I continue to help them, I realize that I'm stronger in other areas and I have a lot of experiences.
When
But
how
ultimately,
different we
it's
are
the
so
sim-
different.
right.
That was part of it too, is that we are so incredibly different and we work different and we have different gifts. But because of what we had went through with our son being sick and the hurricane and everything else, we couldn't really see what we were until we took action. And that right there is where most people, hey, Letitia, that is where most
Welcome.
people get stuck, is that they don't know what they want. And so they just stop and they just stop because they can't figure out what they want.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't figure out what I really wanted either besides this designed life. I wanted to be able to work for myself and really serve my clients to the highest level and then have balance, have, where I work because I love working, and then having family time and abundance and all of these things. And I was like, but I don't exactly know what I want to do. So I just started doing. And I just did and did and did. And as you do, you figure it out. But if you don't ever do, you get stuck in not knowing what's right.
Yeah.
And so really just stepping into doing something, giving yourself permission to try and fail. Because what is really a failure? Like, I've spent years working on stuff that never went anywhere. I've spent so much time, resources, money. I've wasted teams' times. But that's all a part of the process. It's like I learned from those mistakes. I learned from the failures, and I learned how to get better. I learned how to lead better. I learned how to fix things better. And I learned how to just step in and do.
I like what Letitia says. So I get too serious about taking chances. That is like,
yeah.
I feel that has been me for years. And I realize that taking chances
this is a good one.
Is living on planet Earth.
Right. Yeah. Letitia, this is the best question ever. Were you not worried about wasting money? I've wasted wasted so much, scared to waste more. You know what? Money is.
It comes and goes.
It comes
flows.
and goes. It flows. It's just. But think about this for a second. What if we got rid of money and put in sleep? And ask the same question. Were you not worried about wasting sleep? I wasted so much, I was scared to waste more sleep. Money is just a resource that we need, like sleep. And it really can't be wasted, because if you learn from it, it can only be wasted if you didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
But if you learn
shake
something,
your fist at it.
Right.
You won't learn the lesson. There's always a lesson.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's something that's to be utilized, and it flows like water. It comes and goes. And so, yeah, I guess I would argue, what is wasting money? Because to me, I can't waste it. I will put it in a direction, and if that direction goes, that's awesome. If it doesn't, I'm going to analyze why, and then I'm going to learn from why, and then I'm going to readjust. And so to me, that was how I overcame so much of my trauma too, was like, were those wasted years? Were those wasted experiences? Was that wasted money? Because there was a time from 18 to 21, I was making $30,000 to $50,000 a month. And when you're that young and you have experienced nothing but trauma, I just I spent everything because I believed, like, I just did. And I spent time going, wow, look at all the money I wasted. But then I was like, no, I did the right thing because I was making it and spending it and enjoying my life. I would have done it different.
Yeah.
But I threw the best freaking parties. We had the time of our life. Like, it was really, really a good time. And I learned from that. And based on that, I can build it. And I have the belief that I can do it again.
Yes.
So why do we get
attached
to things that don't excite us? Oh. And why do we get scared of letting things go? Judgment. That one is easy to me. We're scared of what people will say.
It's either judging myself or living in this reality of being judged, as if certain people, certain influencers are still in my life, even when they're not. It's like being haunted by the influences that were once there, and then everyone else kind of just plays that role. Because there's all different types of people, and those people will pop in your life that remind you of your parents or that one friend who stabbed you in the back. Like, and really, it's just the reality we create. Like, that was a reality, but we can create a new reality. Fuck people.
Right. I love this. Wow. Or maybe judging myself. And you know what, Letitia, that is the most real, honest answer in the world. That is absolutely right. Yeah. I've spent way too much time judging myself, blaming myself, saying that I think that we hold on to things because we don't want to feel like a failure. But if we don't see it as a failure, then it's okay to just let it go, because it's these beautiful experiences that you can learn from. And those experiences, those are the golden stories that I talk about when we do our class, Storytelling for Profit. It's how do you get to those golden stories and quit blaming yourself so that you can rise above and use those stories in order to help more people. And so I guess I had to learn, maybe it was because I experienced so many losses, that I just kind of hold everything in my life like this. Children grow up, businesses come and go, friends come and go, there's seasons for everything. And so I love them while they're here. And if they become powerful and fly, that's what I want for them. I don't want to hold people back, and I don't want to keep them down. And so I also hold myself like this. And I believe, Jess, you're meant to fly. Jess, you're meant for more. Jess, you're powerful. You're worth it. Your wisdom. You're kind. You tolerate zero bullshit.
It's true.
You do what's right, even when it's hard. You have the hard conversations, because those are the ones that actually move the needle and make the difference. And from that place, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have such a supportive partner. And you know what? We have been through hell together, and we continue to walk through hell and really challenge each other, really push each other, because we've struggled with so much codependence.
Yeah.
And
we've struggled with codependence in our daily activities, in money, with and in the past, a lot of parenting, where it was just like one person would do it one way and one would do it the other way, and instead of hitting it head on, we would just be like, could you please not? But there was no passion behind it. Like, I want to parent this way. And when we started like getting passion behind it, it was like, oh, you're passionate this way, I'm passionate this way. And we put our passions together and we created a puzzle.
We figured stuff out.
And it really worked.
You know what, guys? I have a meeting I've got to get to. I love y'all tons. I believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And we believe in you. I believe in you. You're worth so much more. All the doubts that are in your head, we all have them.
Do what you're awesome at.
Do what you're awesome at. Love yourself and try. Just go try different things. Experiment. Life's an adventure.
Yeah.
It's to be fun. It's to be lived. Sink into curiosity and the adventure of life, because you know what? We don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
But step into today and just keep going. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We love you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Mwah!